and we got Alexis Love scheduled. She's going to be coming through on the 30th. So, definitely want to be here for that. Alexis Love, she was inducted into the Murray State Hall of Fame for track and field. She was Olympic sprinter, so very talented. He also has a book out. So, you definitely want to be tuned in to check out Alexis, that interview with Alexis Love. Let's get into some news. Make sure you drop a comment for sure. Drop a comment. Let me know what's on your mind. You can always ask the coach questions. Like I said, I have people hit me up periodically throughout the week, with just different stuff that they're going through, or, you know, different stuff that they want to do, plans, be it business. It don't matter if it's business. If you have business plans, I've been, in business for 19 years. So shout out to Rapid Return Services, right? Serving the community for 19 years. Um, I as in addition to doing payroll and setting up business structures, like I said, you get a mentor. So if you have a questions, if you have questions, feel free to drop a line for sure. You can hit me up, inbox me. A lot of people out there should be, running a business. That's part of living your best life. That's part of taking control. And we're going to talk about that for sure. Part of doing that is, stepping out. A lot of people stuck in that job, and they're not stuck as far as financially, they stuck mentally. That's where the real prison comes, is mentally, when you feel like, or you believe that you can't do anything else, or you feel like you can't make it on your own, or you feel like you don't have ideas. And this is the perfect time, really loud, despite what people tell you, it's a recession going on or whatever they tell you. This is the perfect time to gear up and start another business. There's so many opportunities out there. From rent, I know people that's making money renting cars. Just, before, you would think, when it comes to renting cars, you have to use the, you know some of the budget rental and some of those major companies. But just the average old Joe down the block can rent his car. Whatever kind of car you got, you can put it on the website and you get some hits. People want to come in and they want to get a deal. You can 25 to, anywhere from 25 to $100 a day, depending on what type of car you got. So there's all different ways to make money, to start your own business, to be an entrepreneur. And I think it's important, but it first starts with changing that mindset, believing that you can do that for sure. So what else is going on in the world today? I got some strange news for you. I want you to check it out. But before I get into this strange news, make sure you know like and subscribe to the station, like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you dislike. Let me know what you want to see, what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. Whatever it is, I want to hear it for sure. Make sure you leave that. And also just recognize that this segment is brought to you by the Impact Station. I have a music station, www.4mpact.com. So make sure when you get a chance, tune in to the radio station and just check it out. It be banging. It's a variety. Normally when you go to an internet station, you're depending on what type of or what genre you listen to, you're only going to get that type. But mine is a combination. You'll get a mixture. You can get a mixture of a little bit Caribbean. You get some hip hop. You get some R&B. It's mixed in there. So, and it's real nice. It's banging songs too. So definitely, I had a chance to listen to it. We drove to Orlando a few weeks ago, and so it was about a 2-hour trip with the traffic at that time. And I just like, let me pop the station in. And I'm telling you, man, there's nothing like cruising to some banging beats and songs, and that's what it is. So, again, it's the Impact Music Station, right? It's a positive vibe station. It's that music without the mess, for sure. So, some strange news for you, firefighter. Now, just imagine you being on the plane, right? Here you are. You got this trip set, and so you're eager to go, right? Or you can even have a business trip set and you got to be there at a certain time. And so the plane is held up, right? Firefighters, all these firefighters had to pull in and had to be called because there was something going on with the plane. At least that's what they thought. An unusual smell that prompted 5 fire trucks to respond to a plane at a North Carolina airport turned out to be a bottle of nail polish. Officials said when when the ground crew member opened the luggage compartment after arriving in American Airlines flight, they noticed an unusual smell. The plane was listed out of service while 5 fire trucks were dispatched to investigate. Firefighters determined the smell was coming from a broken bottle of nail polish. No one was injured, and the plane was put back into service. Wow. So that's just part of our security, our top-notch security, right? They found it. It was nail polish. I know I'd have been upset if I had to wait, if I'm late because of some nail polish for sure. I'd have been upset. California paddleboarder joined by a blue whale for over an hour. Now, the blue whale is one of the world's largest mammals, right? And so, can you imagine being on the? I remember being on the water here in Florida, and we was just fishing. We was just fishing off of a bridge, and all of a sudden, underneath us, there was a huge manatee. Now, manatee ain't nowhere the size of a blue whale. I mean, not because that's the biggest, but the manatees are pretty big, and it's just something about seeing a big, massive animal swimming in the water. It's just a little spooky to me. So it might not be spooky. It obviously wasn't spooky to this guy. He said, he claimed that he was honored and happy that he was swimming with the blue whale. And he said the whale was just feet from him and it swam with him for about an hour. So I guess initially when he saw it, he probably would have been scared. And then after a while, when he recognized what it is, then he probably felt a little better. We took a trip for our honeymoon to the Bahamas, Jamaica, and we got to swim with dolphins. And so yeah, and these dolphins was trained. So, but it was still a little spooky in the beginning, because you in the water that's not our natural habitat. You can't see to the bottom, and here you trusting this animal, this water, this sea creature, you trusting them that they're not gonna take you under or so it was a little spooky, but it was fun though. Once you get past that initial fear, and shout out to people that go out there and conquer them fears. I see a lot of people skydiving. I have yet to skydive. I don't know that I will skydive, but I have known some people to skydive. And so that's another thing. Drop a line. Let me know what are some of the things that you've done, some of the to get over your fear. The only fear that I've ever gotten over when I was smaller was getting on roller coaster rides. I used to be I used to be petrified of roller coaster rides. And so, I was able to get over that. But other than that, you know, so let me know if there's some things that you got that you was able to do to conquer your fear. Also, last bit of news I got, a crypto firm accidentally transferred $10.5 million dollars instead of $100 refund. I can't even imagine. Now listen, I consider myself a very honest guy. I do. Very if I if I see $20 on the ground, I might ask, hey, did you drop it? Or, I might take it to the office or say, hey, somebody dropped $20, you know. But I don't know. If I look at my account and I see 10.5 million dollars, there has to be some type of law to that. There has to be some type of law that keeps a person from getting in trouble because of the temptation of $10 million being accidentally put into your account. So they didn't discover the error until 7 months later. Now, perhaps unsurprisingly, the money is providing difficult to get back. You think you think $10 million mistake? Like who does that? Who does that? So it don't ever happen to me. So and that's funny because part of the thing today is uh certain things certain things just it's two types of people: those that make things happen, the people that, and then people that things happen to. So I guess that's one of the good things that people happen to, that things happen to people for sure. It ain't never happened to me. That's a lot of temptation. $10 million, I would have bought a couple houses or something, and I would just had to go on the payment plan. Like, yeah, I'll pay you back $100 a month until it's all paid off. I wonder how much of it she spent. So, living your best life, right? Being able to take control of your life. Do you feel like you're in control of your life? That's what I want to know. Do you feel like you're in control of your life, or do you feel like the world is a big place, big scary place, and there's you're just limited to what you can do. You're limited to what you can do. That's the real question. And so, in order for you to be able to achieve success at any level, it starts with a belief system. You have to believe in yourself. But first and foremost, let's lay the foundation. We have to lay the foundation. The foundation is God. God's the creator of life. It's kind of like having a car, right? If you bought a car, like I have a Volkswagen, right? German car. So I'm not going to take my German car and take it to just any car lot. You want to take it to the dealership, to a German dealership, to a person that deals with those particular cars. And so when it comes to our lives here, you have to understand that we're created. Now, I don't know what your belief system is, but mine is that we're created. We have There's one God that created us. And so he's the manufacturer of human beings. He knows us the best. And you can get this instructions from the book which called the Bible, right? And so if you take these instructions and follow them, it'll help you lead your best life. And so that's the foundation. And the reason that foundation is important is because there's a lot of ways that people achieve success. You know, there's a lot of different ways people achieve success. And so the difference is that without a strong foundation, then you won't be able to maintain it. You won't keep that success. There's microphone a little bit. You won't be able to maintain that success. And so that's why it's important to build a foundation. And you have to look at it like building your life is like a house. And so you lay down the foundation, and then every floor that you add has to do with different levels of success. Could it be relationships? Next could be careers. It could be business, um, whatever it is. They're all levels. So it's important to have a strong and solid foundation in the beginning, or else at some point it could all come tumbling down. And so I had to learn that the hard way. In the beginning, I didn't have a solid foundation. And what I mean by a solid foundation, mean by having strict, solid belief systems. Like, you know, what do you do when somebody upsets you? What's your belief system in that area? What do you do when, if you fail? What do you do when you're scared? And so it's important that we have a solid belief system, because if we don't, then our foundation is not going to be solid. And so as we begin to build on these different levels or different areas of success, we run the risk of it all falling apart. We run the risk of losing it all. Hold on, let me get this. Then I heard a little feedback. And so that's why it's important to have a solid foundation. We know there's been several people several people in the past that has reached high levels of success, but because their foundation wasn't solid, they lost it through a mistake, through a simple mistake. And so that's why it's very important that we start when it comes to being in control is to have that solid foundation. Shout out to Angel. What's up, my brother Angel? Also, Telly, I forgot to shout out to Telly. That's my brother as well. And so it's important. And so we're building every single day where you should be building. First of all, understand that the human mind should never be without a goal or a plan. You should always have something that you're working towards. It's very important. And the reason why is because there's no blank or dead space in our mind. That means every day, every second, we're being influenced. And so if we're not physically working towards something, and so our thoughts aren't directed towards something, then we're going to be pulled away. We're going to be put off. And that's one of the keys to being successful is making sure that you have a plan set in place. And so getting back to that foundation, the foundation we mentioned is, the foundation that I mentioned is having a relationship with God, understanding that there is a God that created you and you don't have to make all the decisions by yourself. You don't have to face all the problems by yourself. You do have a supreme God that's in heaven that loves you and is helping you and wants to help you. And he's not only does he want to help you, but he also sends people to help you as well. And so if you begin to make that part of your foundation, it'll help you deal with a lot of emotional stress or a lot of things that come, because a lot of times that's what causes our foundation, or what causes or collapses our success, is emotional wise. We're not understanding or able to know how to deal with stuff emotionally. That's right. Angel said prayer is a very powerful tool. Absolutely. Very powerful. And so getting back to that, some of the foundations, like for instance, that you will learn from God is your faith and your belief system. You have to understand how your belief system drives your attitude, or it drives your actions. And then your faith, faith is the vehicle that continues to push. And so once you understand these things, you understand how to deal with the obstacles that come into life. Emotional, how to deal with your emotional state and how to deal with temptation. These are major factors that bring people down. Relationships, careers, you know, whatever you can imagine. And so without having a solid foundation, what am I supposed to do when I'm tempted, right? What am I supposed to do? And that should be etched into your foundation, so that whenever these situations come, you know how to respond and you respond accordingly. And it's more than just knowing. When I say having a solid foundation, I don't mean having the answers in your head or having the answers where you can recall it. That's really not having the foundation. That's merely having the answers. Once it's inside your heart and inside your subconscious mind, that's when it's actually a solid foundation. When these areas like forgiveness and faith becomes automatic, it becomes a habit, then is actually in your foundation. And so that's the key, is to make sure that all these different areas are lodged in our subconscious, which the Bible calls our heart. And so once they're in there, then your foundation is solid. But until they get there, you could be walking around with a book that have all the answers, but you don't know the answer and you don't know how to respond. And so you're still going to get information from pressure from the outside world to tell you what to do, even if you don't think so. You know, this pressure, the world's pressure comes upon us and directs us without us even knowing it. It's just how we're built. It's just how we're built. It's almost like being in the current. And so we've been in the current so long that you don't even know you're in the current. You just continue to flow. You just continue to flow. And so it's those people that recognize that and they stand up and make that right decision, or choose to change their foundation, is the people that's able to reach that high success. You know, how to treat another thing, being able to and this again a part of your foundation, how to interact with different people. Like I said, if somebody makes you upset, or if somebody, do something that you don't like, then how do you respond to that? It's important that you have that foundation to teach you to be able to again forgive, or be able to walk away from a situation. So many people feel justified for getting revenge, or for a simple act, and what happens? They lose their life. You know, Either they could get killed, or go to prison, or you name it. There's been so many people throughout our history that them blew it just from a few seconds of making the wrong decision. And because of that, is because their foundation was not laid in the beginning. And so that's why it's important to have a solid foundation. And so part of that, again, that that relationship with God, and being able to understand and read some of those principles and apply some of those principles, is going to set a foundation. And Jesus even talked about it in the Bible. He says that, uh, a person that uh, that continues to, man, I don't want to misquote it, but he's just telling you that, it's almost like a tree that's planted by, the solid ground. I mean, tree planted by the rivers. They're constantly being fed. And also he talks about, I can't believe I don't remember this. That's how I get when I be doing stuff live. I be forgetting. So, but he talks about having a solid foundation, so that when the winds and the rain comes, that everything stands. And of course, the winds and rains is equivalent to trials and tribulations in our lives. Just different situations. If you have that solid foundation, then your structure will stand. I've been through a divorce, and because of that, it's the foundation. The foundation wasn't solid. Again, I knew right from wrong, but it wasn't in my heart. It wasn't a practice habit, you know. And so once I understood that, I had to make sure that I built that foundation, so that now my relationship with my wife now is solid, because I know how to respond and I know how to act. And again, that's just part of that level. Same thing with business. There's been, a couple times where I've had to start over, where I almost lost everything, or I have lost everything. And again, it's because of that solid foundation. I was out there doing stuff I shouldn't have been, or being influenced by people I shouldn't have been influenced. And so again, that wasn't a solid foundation. And so a lot of people make these mistakes, and they think that, okay, I'm gonna come up. And one of the things that's crazy is, again, you don't realize that we are in a current, our culture, our society, right now, we're all in the current. Just think, like, they're telling us that we're in a recession. So everybody acts according to what we're told. We're in a recession. They act according to what we see, and that's how it works. And so pretty soon you're just making decisions that you feel is best for your life based on this current. And that's what happens. And a lot of times that the current is not correct. That current is not correct. And so when it comes to being successful, you're only going to get what everybody else is getting. If you're just constantly flowing in that current, then that's all you're going to get is what everybody else is getting. So that's why it's important to number one have that foundation. And so I also want to talk about some other things that's going to help you as well when it comes to, taking control and understanding, that it's your life and you're in control. We talked, I mentioned it briefly before, your belief system, you know, your mentality. So these are consistent thought processes that we have. So how do you feel about yourself? It always reminds me of in the Bible when the children of Egypt was getting ready to, God had brought them to the promised land and he was going to give them, the land, but they sent spies out, right? They sent spies out. And so these spies went in there and scoped out the whole land. And so when they came back to report, 10 people said, "Oh, the people are too big. This is a land that swallows up and eats people. We're like grasshoppers in their eyes. There's no way we could survive this." Two of the guys that went and said, "You know what? Everything is true. The land is great. It's good. There's some people there, but we can overtake them. We can overtake them, and we'll have everything that God said we'd have. God is with us." And so, because the people believed, again, there's and the current is the majority. So you have these 10 guys that's saying, "Oh, we can't do it." That was the current. So because of that, everybody followed the current and they decided that they wasn't going to go. And so they had to wait another 40 years. They had to wait another 40 years when in fact they could have, if they had just believed that they could. That was the difference. Even the scripture said that the two guys had a different, Caleb and Joshua had a different spirit. I mean, they had a different attitude towards the world and what they see. And so a lot of times that's some of the issues that we have. What type of attitude or what type of belief do you have towards the world and what you see in your environment? Is very important. Don't follow the current. The current will tell. There is a constant current of the world that's constantly pulling us in a certain direction. And again, if you follow that current, then you're only going to get what's inside that current. So if you look around, that's all you're going to get. If you're doing the same thing everybody else is doing, then you're going to get what everybody else is getting. And so those few, they call them like the one percenters, the few people that go against the current are the people that ultimately become successful. But it starts with that belief system. And so you have to believe that, whatever it is you want to accomplish or whatever it is you want to achieve, that you can do it. Absolutely, 100%. And so the next part I would tell you is going to be your faith, right? And so you look at faith as just a positive attitude towards whatever it is you want to do. That's a simple way. And again, remember, God is the foundation, He's the creator of faith. He created it, it's His plan, it's His energy that created faith. So naturally, you know, you can gain faith from being connected to God. And so faith, again, is just like your positive attitude or positive thoughts towards whatever it is you want to work towards. And so, but the interesting thing about faith is that again, it's a a state of mind. It's not just a thought process. It starts with a thought process, but when you're actually operating in faith, you're actually in a mental state that nobody can talk you out of. In fact, it'll be harder for them to talk you out of it. And so, we always use this example of a chair. Like Every time you go to a restaurant or you go to a baseball game, sporting event, they have chairs there. And probably 90% of the people, when they see a chair, they just sit down. They don't stop and check and see if it's going to hold them up. They don't check and see if it's broke, see if they might fall over or something. Very few people do that. Most people automatically sit in that chair because they believe and they have faith that the chair is going to hold them. So it's actually a mental state that people have. And so that's important because your plans or your dreams, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, you have to have that same type of attitude towards your these accomplishments. It has to be no question that this is going to happen. No question that you can achieve this. And in fact, it should be harder for us to talk you out of it versus stopping on your own. And that's why it's important, very important you know, uh, to have faith. So another part, understand, is being able to control your thoughts and your imagination. So thoughts, imagination is what can also correlate to perspective. It's the same thing as saying your perspective, being able to control your perspective. If you can't control your perspective, then you will never have control over your life. You will never have control over your emotions. And to a degree, you will very rarely have control over yourself. And so that's why it's important to control these things. So I would want you to imagine, just to let you know how important our thought process is, or our imagination is, that, imagine walking across a plank that was on the ground. You take a 2x4, it's only a few inches wide, and so let's say it was long, you walk from one end. So obviously you can do it. If we just laid it on the ground and say, hey, walk from here to there, most people can do it, aside from the people who don't have great balance. But the average person can walk over a 2x4, even if we make it wider. But if you take that same 2x4 and you put it up on the ladder, right? Put it between two ladders, maybe 10 or 12 feet high. And then you say, okay, let me see you walk across it now. It would be a huge change because people's imagination of falling would overcome their emotions. And so that's the same imagination that overcomes you when you're faced with some type of decision, or you're faced with some type of goal or plan that you want to accomplish. And so that's why it's important to control your thoughts and your imagination. The Bible tells us clearly that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And so whatever you imagine or you think is going to happen to you, that's what that's how you're going to respond, and that's how you're going to act. And so that's why it's important that, again, we're talking about, living the best life, taking control of your life. It starts with those things, controlling your actions. It starts right there, controlling your actions, controlling your attitude as well, you know, and forgiveness. Forgiveness is important to forgiveness because, whenever you hold on to some type of bitterness or animosity, it not only does it sits inside your bones, I mean, inside your cells, but it also is equivalent to, I heard someone say, like drinking poison and waiting on your enemies to die. Like, it affects yourself emotionally. And so that's why you got to have that true forgiveness. And there's a test. The acid test is when, you can mention a person's name, or, and you not, feel some type of way about them. That's how you know when you truly pass something, not just saying, And it starts with saying that you forgive them, and reminding yourself, because self-talk is important. But however, you want to get to that state where you're truly over this, and that will allow you to progress. Again, when you're building blocks, you're building levels and levels on top of that foundation. Forgiveness is part of the foundation. And so, and if any part of that foundation is weak, then you run the risk of everything collapsing some type of way. We can't always see, and sometimes you can't even tell. Like, you can be so high up in your level of success and what you've accomplished and what you're doing. You could be so high up, and you can just lose it and not even realize that it's because you had some unforgiveness, or you had some belief system in your foundation that you never quite solidified. You never made a full decision. You just decided, I know I need to forgive, but I can do without it. I'll be okay. And so a lot of times it does come back and affect people, and they don't even know. Sometimes they don't even know until they, sometimes they go to counseling, or they go talk to somebody. And once you get to the root of the problem, then you understand, like, oh wow, I should have dealt with this a long time ago. I should have been able to let this go a long time ago. And so that's important, you realize that forgiveness is in your foundation, and that you apply it as well. So right now, I want to take a quick break. I want to do some trivia. I know I got into my little lesson, and but I did have some trivia. So, you know, I want to see who is smarter than a fifth grader. Who want to take the challenge? That's what I want to know. I want to know who want to take the challenge. Inbox me if you have my uh inbox number. I want you to send me the number. I want to call and put you in on the show. If you listening and you want to take this challenge, shoot me a message. See if I can get. If not, I'm just gonna call somebody. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call Angel. Let me get Angel a shout. Oh, that's perfect, man. You be talking while you driving. Unless it's loud. It might be too loud. Is it too loud when you driving? Bet. He said I can call him. Let me turn the phone on. I'm gonna give you a call, brother. I want to see. Give me just a second. I'm finna get my boy Angel. Oh, that thing was loud.
Yes, sir.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. Hanging in there, man. I'm on my way back from what's this place up here? Oh my God, Jacksonville.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's what's up,
Yeah,
man. You put your number all on the thing. You ain't have to do that. I
Oh,
told
okay. I
you.
forgot that you got my number. That's right. So yeah, man. I made that big step, man. I gave my life to God, bro, and simply because of the information that I've gathered,
Yeah,
the information that basically, pretty much goes with what the Bible, with what's in the Bible and the Bible prophecies,
yeah, yeah.
and you know, um, I had a lot of worries I had a lot of worries every single day, and
Hmm.
and one of the biggest things that God did for me is that one day. I decided to pray to him, right? Because I
Yeah.
wanted to stop smoking. I was smoking for 30 years, and it's been almost a year now since I stopped smoking.
Oh, that's
You
awesome.
know,
That's good.
so what happened? What was the knockout blows for me to stop smoking? Well, I one day I couldn't take it no more.
Hmm.
I couldn't take it no more. I got on my knees and I started praying to God, and I didn't just pray to God about quitting smoking. I actually cried out to Him
Yeah.
with tears in my eyes,
Yeah.
basically,
Hmm.
because that's how bad I wanted to stop.
Hmm.
I couldn't stop. That was my biggest weakness. Okay,
Hmm.
and after that prayer, after I did my prayer, and I asked God, I never got on my knees in my life and asked God for anything the way that I did that day,
Hmm.
because I poured my heart out to Him. That's what I did. And then after that prayer, after that extensive prayer that I did with Him, I went to the bathroom and I had a patch in my arm, right?
Uh-huh.
As soon as I took off that patch in my arm, I felt something inside of me, like it was like wrapped around, like around my spine. Let's just say my spine or something. Like it just let go, and I felt it. I felt whatever was inside of me. I felt that letting go of me. And from that day on, I knew that I wasn't gonna touch a cigarette ever again until this day. Exactly 1 year ago, well, a year and about a week now.
Uh-huh.
I haven't touched a cigarette.
You know what? Look at that.
Yeah, I should have been. I should have been dead, bro. To be honest with you, smoking for over 30 years.
Yeah,
You know how cigs? A lot of people die from
a lot
that.
of people die from that. You're absolutely right. You're
You know,
absolutely right. And so
and
that's
and
that's good. I just want to add, because I'm glad you was able to share. Thanks for sharing that. But that's
yeah,
part of taking back your life. That's part of taking control of your life, because when
yes,
you feel like you're not in control, that's a bad feeling, like you can't stop when you want to. Or but I'm proud of you, man, and I'm glad.
yeah. But you know why I also gave my life to God,
Why?
because I couldn't forget how easy it was from one day to another when it was so impossible for me.
Mm-hmm.
The hundreds of times that I tried to stop smoking, and that one prayer that I did, from one day to another, I was free from that cigarette. If that wasn't God that was there to let me know that He was willing to take that away from me the way that He did, if he wouldn't have done what He did, I don't think I would have believed, or I would have made this step. I just couldn't forget that feeling that day after that prayer,
Mm-hmm.
and that always stuck. And God has blessed me in ways like you wouldn't believe, man. And I've been so hard headed with God. You
Yeah.
know, I wish. Some people tell me, man, I never get blessed. I never get blessed by God. I don't know what's going on. And I say to myself, man, there are people saying these things, and why has God blessed me? What is so important about me that God is blessing me? With everything, with the job, with
Mm-hmm.
not worrying about everything that's going on. Everything that's going on in this nation with food, high food prices going. You know, ever since I've given my life to God, I've gotten this peace in my heart.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
that's
know,
good. That's good. And you should. That's part of what he tells us, that those that, we stay focused on him, will be in perfect peace.
you know, I've been praying. You know, I've been praying a lot, man. I pray every day. You know, sometimes you know, I got this couple of weeks worth of work right now with Amazon, and next week is, it'll determine whether or not we're gonna keep getting more and more and more work.
Mhm.
But sometimes I come out of work at 12 o'clock at night, and the earlier I come out, the earlier I get up to, I'll go to sleep for about 4 or 5 hours, and I'll get up and I start praying to God to thank Him for everything that He's done for me, as far as taking the cigarettes away,
Mhm.
taking a lot of people, a lot of toxic people out of my life too. You
So
know,
I got a question for you. So
yeah.
what how what are you doing to pass it on to the next person? So one of the
Well,
things that help you solidify all these things and to help you grow even stronger is by finding someone else to help that's been in that situation.
I can tell you this. I can tell you this. I've been asking God. I've been saving food in my house, right? And I've been praying to God, asking Him, and telling God to say, God, please, you don't have all this food in my house. If there's anybody that needs any of this food, um, uh, please send them my way. This is me telling God to whoever is in need to send them my way, that I will provide them with something so that they can have something to eat, for the next week or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
And I've been praying about that. I don't know why I started praying about that, but I did. I started praying about that. I really want to help people out. And while I help people out, I just want to tell them that God is coming. God is really close right now. We are right now. I feel that we are right now in the birth, uh, uh, the birthplace
The
of,
birth pains. You mean the
yeah,
birth pains?
the birth
Yeah.
pains. There you go. Of the Bible.
Right.
I do feel that right now. And with everything that's going on, a lot of stuff is man-made. Like with the food, what's going on with the food, it's all man-made. With uh, earthquakes in various places. That's
Right.
in the Bible. You're seeing that right now.
Mhm.
The weather changes. The diseases. Even though these were all man-made, but it's in the Bible.
Yeah, it
The
is.
rumors of wars that you're hearing about Ukraine and Russia, Taiwan and China.
Yeah.
These are the birth pains of the Bible that it talks about. And we have to be vigilant on these things,
Right.
because
What
if you go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say our vision. Remember that our vigilance is for the people. It's not to worry about these things that's going on and to take our head and look to the sky and be like, oh, is that Jesus today? Is that Jesus today? Or is he's coming today? No, we're supposed to keep focused on, like you said, you was praying for people to help people that need some food. That's your
Yeah,
focus. And so when you're gonna be vigilant, you got to be vigilant and finding people that has that need, so that because God is close. He's guess what? To the people that don't know him, he's super close because he's inside angel. That's how
yeah.
close he is. And
Hey,
so
hey, hey, I meant to tell you too that somebody did come to my house asking for that help.
look at
And
there.
and my mom, my wife.
Could be the same. Could be the same.
Yeah. My wife, she actually, gave her a dozen of eggs. So, I called my
Yeah.
brother, he's a pastor, and I kind of sat down and talked to him and let him know. I said, hey, if this lady needs food, I think we should, provide her with a little bit of something to get by, and then we can guide her into, going to, these churches where they do give free food that she can go to, in case she's
Mhm.
in need of anything else,
Yeah.
Right now we can supply her with something right now, and then we can sit down with her and and talk to her about about what she's gonna do about is she gonna do anything about being giving her life to God more, or is she praying, ask her all these questions so that it influence her to look for God. Let me tell you something. When my wife told me that she came over for help, you know, automatically I said to myself, you know what? I guess I'm guessing that God is listening
So
to
your
my
prayers.
prayers
That's
because
right.
you know because if he's sending people my way right now, like that lady, then God is then God is real.
Oh
God
yeah.
is good.
God is good, man, for sure.
You know.
So
So
listen, well, listen, man. I'm definitely glad that you came and shared that testimony for sure. You got one more thing you need to tell us?
no,
Let the
no,
people
no,
know.
no, no. That no, just that I like all I want to say is that, man, that God is coming, man, and I feel that, really deeply in my heart that He is coming, man. I think what
Absolutely.
He's doing right now, He's giving a good amount of people a good awakening about what's going on, so that they can prepare accordingly spiritually. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
and hopefully, um people just people would just wake up, because I think that's what's happening right now. There's an awakening happening, and I think God is calling its people right now. I
Mhm.
think that's what's happening in my opinion. So I hope that I hope that people give their life to God, man. That's all I can say. I hope they give their life to God and pray to God the way the way I've been praying. I get up so early in the morning,
Mhm.
and I pray to Him every single day, man. Every single day, and
That's
I feel the more I pray to Him, I feel more peace in my heart every single day.
as you
You
should.
know,
You should. That's anytime you
so
got God on your focus, it brings peace, man. Again, I thank you for sharing that testimony. I'm so happy that you was able to kick them smoking, kick it in the butt, and you continue because health is important, man. Health is important. And remember, you're going
yeah,
to be a blessing to somebody else because there's somebody else that need to know, how you was able to get past it and get over it, and so you're gonna be able to share that with them too. All right, Angel, I
yeah, no,
appreciate you for definitely tuning in too, man. You always, every time I'm up here, I always see you too.
yeah, no problem, man. God bless everybody that's listening, and hopefully we can talk some more in the future.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, brother. Bye.
All right, take care.
Yes, sir. It's my bro Angel, sharing this testimony. That's important. Health is important when it comes to taking control of your life. Health is important. Taking control of your health. So making sure that you are eating right, you're exercising, and not putting a whole lot of chemicals in your body. I know my wife is happy when I say that. So even though she feel like I don't listen, sometimes I don't, but Angel was able to kick that smoking habit, which is a nasty, nasty, nasty habit. It is, and it's tough when you've been smoking for a long time. But he was able to do it by the power of God, which is that faith that he have, and so he was able to kicking, and he's been over a year, you know, and so definitely happy about that. I was gonna hit him with some questions, but his testimony was just so amazing that I didn't want to interrupt it by asking no other questions. So with that being said, man, it's time for your boy Coach A to head out. I appreciate everybody that tuned in, even my caller. Let me go ahead and take this off. I love this feature because I'm able to call people and put people on the spot right then and there. I got some more people that I want to call, but I won't do it on this show. I had to start letting people know ahead of time, before I just call them because I don't want to get hung up on, or they're going to ignore me because I don't look like like I'm the bill collector. So, you know how that can be. So, again, I appreciate everybody tuning in for the Impact Show. That's all I had. Initially, I was going to have the baby here, Elijah, but because my wife she had to work, and so it was me and him, and I was like, the show must go on anyway. But she came back just in time and she took him from me. So, he would have been flipping all over around. I was getting started. It was like that's why I was late, like 5 minutes late, because I had him and he was flipping all around and jumping up and spinning around and kicking his feet and patting the desk, trying to grab a remote, trying to grab a microphone, punching on the keys. I was like, oh my goodness. He was going to give me a run for the money. God's favorite baby is all boy, man. I'm telling you, he be all over the place, flipping. You can't even change his diaper without a wrestling match. Like every time we try to change his diaper, it's like a wrestling match. He flipping and kicking and turning, and you got to flip him back around and pin him down. 1, 2, 3. You got to hurry up and get him pinned just to change the diaper. So, but we love that. We love him though, because he healthy. He's a healthy young boy, and he brings so much joy. He's always happy and yelling. He had a little play date with a friend of mine, Theo. Shout out to Jared and Ipac. You know, they brought uh they brought him over, and again, he's big too. He was big, but Elijah is screaming, and here he is yelling loud, and the other kid, he not used to that, and so he looking around all worried and started crying because he's like, "Well, why this dude's crying, screaming like that?" And Elijah just when he get happy, sometimes he just scream, he just yell like ah, because he happy. That's my dude. So, but he'll get used to it. He get used. He definitely got my personality. He not shy. He's not shy. He's always making noises, and he'll come up to people. So if we ain't careful. So again, I appreciate everybody tuning in to the Impact Podcast Show. Again, remember on the 16th, I got an interview with Sam Young. I'm good. I'm glad to get back on the interview. I love doing that. Letting you know what type of stuff people doing in the community. I also got Alexis Love on the 30th. Again, we've been trying to get that for a while. She ended up having her baby before we had ours, so that pushed that time back. And then of course I had mine. We had ours, so and then after that it was just like, oh boy. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. Let me go ahead and hit the outro.